It was a crisp October evening in Maple Hollow, a quiet Midwestern town where neighbors still waved from porches and porch lights doubled as beacons of safety. 16-year-old Ethan Cole was supposed to be home by 9:30 p.m. He never missed curfew, not once. His mother, Susy Cole, knew her son's rhythms like the steady ticking of the clock in their kitchen. But at 10:47 p.m., that clock's tick began to sound like thunder. Susy called his phone, straight to voicemail. She texted, "Ethan, where are you? Are you okay?" No reply. By midnight, her unease had turned into full-blown panic. By 2 a.m., police were at her door taking a missing person report. And by sunrise, the sleepy town of Maple Hollow would be shaken awake by a nightmare that would stretch on for years. Ethan wasn't the type to vanish. He was the golden boy, honor roll student, varsity soccer player, part-time grocery clerk. His father had died of cancer when he was 12, so it was just him and Susy now. She worked nights as a nurse, juggling shifts just to make ends meet. People described Ethan as sweet, responsible, and quiet. But quiet kids have secrets too, sometimes darker than anyone imagines. Police began their investigation with the obvious: friends, school, social media. Ethan's last known sighting was at Brandon's house, his best friend, around 8:45 p.m. They'd been watching a horror movie, eating pizza, nothing unusual. At least that's what Brandon told the police. But Susy noticed something strange when she stopped by Brandon's the next morning. His mom wouldn't make eye contact. And Brandon, her son's lifelong friend, was trembling. For days, volunteers combed the nearby woods. Drones, dogs, divers, the works. The entire town rallied. Susy barely slept, barely ate. Every day began with hope and ended with heartbreak. Then came a break. A burner phone found in the creek half a mile from where Ethan's backpack had been discovered. It had only one number stored in it labeled S. Police traced it to a girl named Sierra Harper, a classmate of Ethan's, known for her rebellious streak and her recent expulsion from school. She was smart, unpredictable, and most notably had been dating Brandon up until 2 weeks before Ethan vanished. When police interviewed her, Sierra's smirk melted into tears. "Ethan wasn't who you think he was," she said quietly. "He was scared. He said someone was following him." According to Sierra, Ethan had been receiving anonymous messages for weeks. Threats, photos of his house taken at night. Someone wanted him to pay for something. Detectives dug into Ethan's digital life and found something chilling. On a secret Instagram account, Ethan had been posting photos of graffiti tags around Maple Hollow. The tags matched those of a small but violent local gang known as the Hollow Crew. And one post stood out, a blurry photo of a man with the caption, "You'll get what you deserve." The man's face was half hidden, but police soon identified him. Kyle Warner, a 21-year-old dropout and known Hollow Crew member. He'd been arrested for assault a year earlier and lived just a few streets over from Ethan. But here's where it got twisted. Kyle's mother, Margaret Warner, worked as a nurse at the same hospital as Susy. Susy's world spun. She remembered Margaret, kind, gentle, always offering to switch shifts. They'd worked side by side for years. When detectives brought her in, Margaret broke down immediately. "Kyle told me he was scared of that boy," she said. "He said Ethan was blackmailing him." Apparently, Ethan had found something out, something that could destroy Kyle's life. When police searched Kyle's house, they found a blood-stained hoodie buried in the backyard. DNA confirmed it belonged to Ethan Cole. Kyle was arrested, but he maintained his innocence. "I didn't kill him," he said in interrogation. "I just wanted him to stop." Stop what? That's when the Real story started to unravel. Detectives eventually discovered that Ethan had been running a small anonymous blog exposing shady dealings around Maple Hollow, drug trades, stolen property, corruption. His latest post, never published, was titled "The Nurse's Son." It contained screenshots of texts implicating Margaret Warner in stealing hospital medication and reselling it through her son's gang connections. Ethan had confronted her. He wanted her to turn herself in or he'd expose everything. Margaret begged Kyle to talk to him, to reason with him, maybe scare him a little. But fear makes monsters of ordinary people. Kyle admitted they met behind the old rail yard that night. He said Ethan fell, hit his head on a rock. Panicking, he hid the body. But when police searched the area, there was no body. The case hit a wall. 2 years passed. Susy moved away, unable to bear the silence of a house with her son's door still closed. Then, in June of 2023, a construction crew digging near an abandoned farmhouse on the outskirts of town found a shallow grave. The body was identified through dental records, Ethan Cole. But the autopsy told a different story. Ethan hadn't died from a fall. He'd been shot, and the bullet matched the service weapon of Officer Raymond Holt, the same officer who had led the original investigation and comforted Susy through her grief. He'd been part of the Hollow Crew's protection circle, covering up their crimes for years. Ethan's blog had gotten too close. Kyle hadn't killed Ethan. He'd run for help that night to Officer Holt, and Holt had silenced Ethan permanently. When the truth came out, Holt was sentenced to life in prison. Kyle served 7 years for obstruction, and Margaret was charged with conspiracy and drug trafficking. But none of it brought Ethan back. Susy still keeps his room the same bed made, soccer trophies lined up, the window cracked open just a little, as if he might climb through any minute. Every October 14th, she sits by that window and whispers, "You can come home now, baby." Holt had silenced Ethan permanently, and somewhere, between grief and memory, you can almost hear the echo of a boy's laughter in the autumn wind, a reminder that even in the safest towns, darkness sometimes lives next door. The story of Ethan Cole isn't just about a missing boy. It's about how truth gets buried beneath fear, loyalty, and the lies we tell to protect the people we love. It's about how one small town's silence became the perfect cover for corruption. And it's about a mother who refused to stop listening for footsteps that would never return. Because in Maple Hollow, there's one sound everyone remembers, the quiet of a house waiting for the boy who never came home. For more stories, subscribe to the channel.